Hey, what's up guys? Back in the shop again, and I'm hoping to get maybe an hour or so work in on the S6 tonight. I was hoping to do some today, but got busy in the shop doing other stuff, so I'm going to continue tonight, see what I can get done. The current plan is to pull the bottom valley pan off, check the screw or the oil screen in there, see what that looks like, clean that up. Possibly drill a hole in it. I'm not sure yet, depending how it looks like. I might go punch a couple holes or maybe a big hole in the middle to make sure we don't have any issue with that in the future. I also have a couple boxes of stuff that we're going to go through of the new parts I got for it. Why don't we head over there and check that out, and then we'll get the car down in position where we can pop that off, and if we have enough time I might also start putting the new turbos on. But for now, let's go check out some of the stuff I got. Alright, so here's some new parts. I've got a bunch of O-rings, going to replace all the O-rings on the water and oil feed and return lines. Obviously got a new oil filter, got a new PCV valve, which I'm not sure, I may or I may not use, depending. I'm going to check the old one out. I may try to stick with the old one until I know that the engine's good. Not totally sure on that. Other than that, I've got some turbos here. So what I ended up doing is, as I think I mentioned in the last video, is picked up a set of stock turbos. These are actually in very good condition. If we look here, there's like no chipping in the wheels. They look great, they feel great. Very nice, clean turbos. So we're gonna run them, kind of get a shakedown on the car, that way we can get it on the road, hopefully. Fingers crossed everything will be good on the engine, and we can just kind of get a complete feel of the car, and then probably bring it back in and kind of figure out how big we want to go from there. So that's the current plan. I'm going to try to set you guys up here, get the car in position, and start tearing stuff apart. Alright, so this is what we're going to be working on first tonight. Possibly all do tonight. Possibly all get done tonight, depending how the evening goes. We want to remove this tray down here. Under here is where the screen sits. That is what will plug up and cause restriction on the oiling system, therefore causing the turbos to fail. So we want to pull that off, take a look at it, and clean, possibly modify the screen depending on what it looks like. I'm not sure yet. But that's the plan for this evening. Once we get that done, I've got all new O-rings for all these lines here, or I think I do, if I got sent the right stuff. So all those will be getting replaced, and then the new turbos will be ready to go on. So let's get to it, see what we can get done here tonight. Alright, so this should be moment of truth. What will our screen look like? Got one plug here we gotta undo. Alright, so if we flip this over here, what we see here is this screen, which I'll try to grab here. I'm really curious what this will look like. Sits right in here. Oh, and this is the two lines that, if you see coming out here, are the feed to the turbos. So if this screen gets plugged, there's little to no oil or very little oil feeding into the turbos, which results in pretty quick turbo failure. So anyway, I'm going to clean this up a little bit, wipe it down, and actually see what it looks like. If we look, top's all oily, bottom does look, there's some crud on there, however it doesn't look as bad as I thought it might. Alright, so I got stuff cleaned up here a little bit. Let's see, right here is where that oil screen would normally sit. Let me grab it here. So generally that oil screen is going to sit right like that. And that supposedly filters the oil coming up into these feed lines. If we look on the back side here, we can see right here is where this would sit in here. So I've been looking at it, My screen actually had almost nothing on it. There was a couple big pieces which actually were on the feed side, or on the side that actually should be the clean side. I'm guessing there was, I don't know how they got in there, possibly from the way the turbos failed. It might have somehow backfed some kind of trash in it. But I think what I'm going to do, I went and punched a hole in it, but I didn't really like how that does. I'm scared that this screen, once punched, might start losing little metal fragments. So I didn't like that idea. I really don't like the screen because we already know that's not a good design. And I was thinking that this is rubber and it's actually part of the sealing, but it's not. It's just simply hard plastic, so it's not needed to seal. The seal goes all the way around it. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and throw that in the trash. We're not going to worry about that. We're going to put it on and run it without any screen at all. I'd rather have dirty oil coming to my turbos than no oil. We obviously know no oil doesn't work. And there's really no reason that the oil is dirty. 99% of turbos on the roads have no screen like that. So we're going to run it without a screen. We're going to see what happens, especially now that my turbos are somewhat temporary. I'm not too concerned. We're going to see how it works. The only real concern I would have is if that screen possibly would act as a restrictor, which obviously it does. If the turbos get too much oil pressure, they could potentially smoke, but being they're journal bearing, that is generally not a concern. Journal bearing turbos can take a lot of oil. They're not near as fussy, don't generally require restrictors like a ball bearing turbo. And then here we can see our oil return. That just simply dumps right in this spot right in here and goes right down. You see the hole there, drains right back into the block. So a pretty simple setup here. I'm going to clean the surface up a little better and grab the new seal. And we're going to slap this back on here. Alright, so here we have our new seal. Let's go ahead and open that. And that goes on right like that, and then this will sit right on top of there. And again, should route my wiring harness in there while I can. There we go. That goes down and under there. Trying to get that all lined up. There's seal. Alright, so we got the seal lined up there. It's just going to be putting all these back in there and torquing them down again. So pretty much reverse of removal. And then we'll start doing replacing O-rings, and then next to that will be turbos. Not sure if I'm going to bother with the turbos tonight. I'll probably just torque this down and call it a night. It's already fairly late. May throw a couple O-rings on, or at least go through my O-rings and make sure that I have all the O-rings I need. But I think that might wrap it up. So let's put this back together. Size except for the one that goes right in here. You got, see there, some kind of weird fibers in there. All these the same length except for this one longer one, which drops in right there. So pretty simple for you guys thinking of checking your oil screens. Not that complicated once you're down to it. Now obviously getting down to it is the part that's a little bit of labor. You got it pretty easy now that our turbos are out. Alright, so I'm going to go look up the torque spec, torque that down, and then depending what time it is, I might tackle some of the O-rings. Alright, so got it torqued down there and got my O-rings here. So I went ahead and popped two of them off just kind of so we could take a look at them. This is the O-ring from one of the coolant lines here, either the coolant feed or return. Not sure which it would have come off, but you can see even the coolant lines here, they're pretty hard. See how they're squared off. These will be the O-rings that there is now an updated part. These O-rings, I think it will be these that are going to be going on there. I have to check the part numbers, but I'm pretty sure I have 8 of them, which is what I have here. Is an updated O-ring for that. So for you guys that have a coolant leak in the top of your turbos, here is your culprit here. You can see this one is really hard, totally square. So that's that. And then here we got the one off the oil feed. Now this one was that hard that it actually got brittle. It broke rather than stretching off. You can see if I bend it a little bit, it just cracks. So complete trash. So anyway, going to go ahead, pop them all off, clean everything up there, and throw the O-rings on, and I think I'll call it a night at that. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so I got the O-rings put on here. If we look here, see all new O-rings on there, along with new O-rings on the drains there. So I think we're going to call it a night at that. We'll do the turbos another day. So again, thanks for watching. As always, hit that like, subscribe, and comment below if you want to see more than what you're seeing, or you have something different you want me to go over. But for now, we're going to wrap it up and come back possibly tomorrow or another day here whenever I get time. Get the new turbo sender sections put in there, and then at that point I'm just going to go ahead, put the new intercooler, everything back on, put the PCV and everything goes back in here, get it to where I can crank it over and see if it fires. And so yeah, we're getting close. Hopefully everything will go the way it should, or the way I hope, and we can get this thing running. I'm hoping if I don't get too busy and get a couple days to work on it, we can get it running here in the next week or two. So that'd be great. But again, we'll catch you on the next one.